My partner and I were having a sexually intimate moment when something happened. He uttered the words, "Don't stop me." In that moment, I froze. This intimate and pleasant moment turned into something else. He had to stop what he was doing. I was incredibly embarrassed by this because this is someone that I cared so deeply for. And to make him feel like he was doing something inappropriate broke my heart. So what actually happened? If 2 minutes ago we're having something fantastic and right now it feels like I don't want you beside me, well, there's one word for that, and that's called triggers. If you've been sexually assaulted before, there are some things that can trigger a feeling of fear or take you back to the exact moment of the abuse. So it doesn't even matter if you're with someone that you love and trust. There are things that they can say, or there's something that you can smell that takes you back to the moment of the abuse. And I'm sure you can imagine how distressing this is for the person that has been abused, not just emotionally and mentally. It also takes a toll on your sexual life. I want to tell you guys a little bit of how I actually deal with my triggers that occurs whenever I'm having a sexually intimate moment with my partner. If you feel comfortable, please tell your partner about the experience so they can understand what's going on with you. You need to be very careful though, because this is something very private. Make sure that the person is worthy of your trust before you disclose such information. And you also don't need to tell them everything at once. You can give them little information, and bit by bit, as your trust gets stronger, see if you can make a list of things that trigger you or specific actions that trigger you. For instance, if the person that abused you pinned your hand to the wall and put a lot of force on your arm, if you're with someone or if you're with your partner and he does the same thing by pinning your hands to the wall, there are chances that that action can actually trigger you. Sometimes it could be like you need a lot of foreplay because your body is not ready for penetration yet. So the moment that you do not have a lot of foreplay to prepare your body for any form of penetration, it could trigger you and make you feel like you're being abused at that moment. And because sexual activity doesn't just focus on the physical act, there is the emotional and the mental bond that has to happen between the partners. Do not streamline the things that trigger you only to sexual or physical activities. Sometimes you can think about the connections, the patterns. Think about things that you smell. Some people can smell something and it triggers them. For me, it was words. There's some words that you say that triggers me as well. So you need to understand the kind of things that trigger you. Do you feel triggered when you don't feel in control? So some people, it can be the tone of the voice of the person they are with. If the person you're with has a very authoritative tone while you guys are being intimate, it could trigger you and make you feel like, I'm not with someone that I feel safe with. So make sure that you write down the things or specific actions that trigger you. I want to let you know that writing down these triggers can trigger up some form of unwanted sadness, because what you're doing is acknowledging the fact that this violation does have an impact on your life. But you need to know that it's part of the healing process. You need to confront it before you can actually scale through it. If you don't want to do anything, don't do it. Even if you're with the most amazing partner ever, sexual abuse has a way of messing up your understanding of consent. So you can't give consent every step of the way. Some people can think it takes away from the from the romance that's happening in that moment, but it doesn't. There is something that I do, and I don't know if you guys can try it. What I do is that in the middle of anything, even no matter how far we've gone, I just tell the person to stop. Just stop. And what that does to me is that it reassures me that I am still in control. I'm still in a safe place the moment my partner stops. Earlier, I told you about how my body froze, like I was having an out-of-body experience. That was me disassociating. Disassociating is like an after effect of a trigger. So sometimes you can feel like you're numb. Sometimes it looks like that thing you're going through, you're not going through it, it's someone else that's going through. Sometimes you're sweating and your mind takes you back to the moment of the abuse. That is disassociating. And what disassociating is for, it's more like a survival mechanism. So to stop your body from any further trauma, your body just takes you out of that moment. So you need to know when you're disassociating and the patterns that you follow to disassociate. Why is this so important? It's so important so that you stop conditioning yourself for disassociation. So many people that are still going through the healing process of any sexual abuse still engage in sex even when they don't want to. And because of this, your body goes into default mode, which is to disassociate. And if you keep doing this consistently, that will become the normal, that will become your normal mode, in the sense that even when you do want to have sex, you will still disassociate. So you need to stop conditioning your body for that form of experience. Also important to know the pattern, so it can help you pinpoint exactly what led to that disassociation. So if I know that the first thing that happens to me is that I begin to feel numb, since I know that's my pattern, I can think about it. What did this person say that made me feel numb in this moment? So when you know your patterns, it allows you to trace back what caused that trigger, which makes it easier for you to deal with it, because when you do know what caused it, you can pen it down, talk to your partner about it and say, okay, I don't like it when you do this. This takes me back to the moment of the abuse. It is so important to find a way to get yourself back to safe space. For me, like I said earlier, I spoke about how when I'm in the middle of anything, I can just tell my partner to stop. What that does to me is reassures me that I am in a safe space. If you feel like you need to have a long chat, stop any sexual activity and just talk to your partner for like good 5 minutes. Do it. If you feel like you need a long hug, do it. Some people just need a gentle kiss. Do whatever it is that you feel you need to do, and you also need to get your partner involved. Why do I say this? Because it's very, very important when your partner can give you reaffirming words, positive reaffirming words, like telling you it's okay, I'm not going to hurt you, I love you, I'm here, I'm not that person. It just relaxes your nerves and it brings you back to a safe space. If you're actually struggling with getting back to a safe space, it means that you need to still take time to heal and not rush that process. You also need to add that you do not need to take any intoxicants, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is that you're taking to run away from that feeling. It actually worsens it. Something like weed can make you more nervous, make you more anxious, and worsen the intensity of your trigger. So learn and be ready to go through this process sober. This is obviously not a method that everyone wants to engage in, but for people who decide to engage in it, we believe it's a way of reclaiming your sexual self and telling yourself that you have the control, you have the power of your body. Because when you're being assaulted, that is the first thing that you lose your power. So to reclaim your sexual self back, some people do have to learn to masturbate. There's something they say your body, you can't give it out to anyone except you finally embraced it as yours. Learn to be patient with yourself. Sometimes the intensity is incredible, sometimes it's mild. You need to understand that it's part of the process. Don't think you're broken. Don't think that you're never going to find someone that actually understands you. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. To look at it from the positive side and say, okay, you know what, this is just an opportunity for me to know what my body needs to feel safe when I'm alone and when I'm with people. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's vlog. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something. Please, if you're going through this and you have other ways that you deal with your triggers, drop a comment below. I would love to learn from you, and I'm sure other people that are watching this would also love to learn your own coping mechanism of dealing with your triggers due to a sexual assault. My name is Lolo Cynthia, and I'll see you next week.